Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are. And breaking news: Cody Rhodes and Brandy have left AEW. The two companies could not come to terms with a new deal, and so Cody and Brandy decided to leave. And now we don't know where they're gonna go. But I'm just gonna pull up the article here from No DQ. I'm gonna read it verbatim. So apologies for that, and let's see what they have to say. And then myself and my co-host D Hosea 101. How you doing?
What an interesting 12 to 15 hours it's been in the wrestling world. Cody
Because we
Rhodes
have,
wants to get the hell out of here, and I don't blame him.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And as you can see here, he is posing as Brian Pillman because it's the perfect encapsulation of the last 12 hours of wrestling. Because a bunch of crazy crap has gone down,
Hmm.
and we're about to read the madness. I'm just going to quickly check the live stream to see if my face can be seen, so that's okay. However, my lighting is terrible.
Yeah, it might be my
Yep.
computer for all I know. Something spazzed
Yeah,
out
that's
earlier, so I don't know.
no problem. No problem. So I'm going to read the no DQ article. As previously noted, Cody Rhodes and AEW's departure was officially announced on Tuesday morning after months of speculation about his future. According to TMZ.com, sources with AEW noted that there was a fallout between Cody and AEW president Tony Khan's recently as Khan's visibility within the company grew. What? Hang on.
Hmm.
Fightful Select also reported the following. About 15 minutes before Cody's announcement, word had also spread that AEW talent that he was leaving the company. So AEW talent got wind of it before the announcement was made. Cody Rhodes and Brandy haven't been quite as connected to the locker room in recent years and as when AEW first started, with word emerging that Cody had become distant from other EVPs. See, the beauty with a lot of the rumors in wrestling is they're almost always true.
Hmm.
So it's never take it with a grain of salt. Just know that it's true. Okay, so back in May 2021, rumblings started about possibility, possibly between legitimate backstage tent. What? Hang on, who fucking wrote this article? Back in May 2021, rumblings started about there possibly between. You mean being legitimate backstage tension between AEW executive vice presidents. Dave Meltzer noted the following regarding Cody and Brandy. Oh, who cares what Dave Meltzer says, but I'll read it anyway.
Hmm.
The Cody slash Brandy split with AEW happened yesterday. The two sides didn't come to terms on a new deal after 6 weeks. There is a lot more to read into this, and our show last night we talked about the different issues, but he could legally be on WWE TV anytime. God forbid. So that's the article from uh, No DQ. And Jose, get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Cody leaving AEW?
Mm. Working, working, working. I don't buy into this just yet. I know there's friction between the AEW EVPs, but something tells me he ain't truly gone yet. I'd be shocked to see him back on WWE. It'd be funny as hell to see a promo between Triple H and Cody Rhodes. Like that's the only thing I'd want if Cody came back to WWE.
Yeah.
And Triple H could be like, "So what was this shit about a throne you were doing?" And just like leave it at that. But yeah, if he goes back to WWE, dude, they're gonna bury him flat out. I don't see him getting any
Yep.
momentum whatsoever. But
Yeah.
he'll get a hell of a payday if nothing else.
Yeah. I can't. I really can't see him going back to WWE at all. If I'm being honest,
Hmm.
um, because it's that there's the prospect of he'll just get buried, and it's kind of embarrassing. It's like you're going back to a company you spent the last 3 years shitting on, and then you're going to go back there, and it's not really an fu to WWE. It's more of a you failed as a person because you're a shitty person,
Hmm.
that didn't listen to anyone, and now look, you've alienated yourself from the very thing you helped create, and you're back to square one again.
Yep.
So it it doesn't bode well him going back. I'm sure he's got a bunch of other projects lined up. I mean, he's got that shitty reality TV. Whether they keep that or not remains to be seen. Um, so yeah, I mean, we heard a while back about there being tension backstage between him and the rest of the cringe fest that is the elite or the VPs. You heard about all the rumors beforehand, didn't you, Jose?
Yep. Yeah, all the friction. And this is what happens now. The boys are the marks backstage. And when you have the marks running a wrestling company, it never works out. It never does. And that's what I worry for AEW. I mean, you got Tony Khan. He's a mark for the business, and it makes you wonder how long is it really going to last?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're doing the right thing with all the signings.
Hmm.
However, I dip in every now and then, now and again, but nothing's really standing out. I don't know if it's whether my kind of passion for wrestling has died down, or just the fact that everything just kind of trudges along and nothing's concrete and everything's a bit all over the place. I don't know. Do you watch AEW as much these
No,
days, or
I've tried to get into it, and it's a very match and move heavy product. That's what I notice a lot about it. It's like it's very wrestling heavy, a lot of matches and moves. These guys don't really stand out to me. It's like, okay, you're putting on great matches, but what else is there? Good evening, Zam.
good evening, Zam? Good
Yep.
evening, Zam. Yeah,
Yeah. But with
yeah,
AEW, I think, if you're a wrestling fan and you just want to see wrestling matches, go watch it. But I think, like we've said in the past, I think wrestling is pretty much just going to be for its niche audience, and that's who AEW caters to. It caters to hardcores. I don't see casuals coming in checking out AEW anytime soon, but that's
yeah,
just me.
yeah. I agree. It's more for like the mark crowds these days. It's not drawing in massive new audiences. There isn't kind of been a reinvigoration of for wrestling as much now that the kind of the next generations that come into it are just it like we're the last generation of wrestling fans. After us, it's pretty much over. The
It
audience isn't getting any younger. Um, the, WWE is trying to cater to an audience that doesn't exist, so that it's affecting that product. And AEW is kind of, it's not their fault. I mean, I don't even think throwing the kitchen sink out in the wrestling world now will bring in new eyes to the product, if I'm
mm-mm.
being honest. So AEW is better off just doing what they're doing at the moment, but just try to work on better stories, more consistent stories. Keep improving on the wrestling and the training. But it's just not a product. I feel that it's just going to have a new audience after we're done.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a boom period. You'll never see another Austin, another Rock. You'll never see another Monday Night War again. Those days are over, and the internet has kind of killed the magic aspect of the business. I see, like people say, Twitter trolls and the people inside the business have ruined the entire industry forever. I'm like, I knew the beginning of the end came when Vince turned heel at the end of '97, and he was like, "We're not going to insult your intelligence anymore. We're going to, open the creative envelope. We're not going to do good guys versus bad guys." Essentially, letting you know that hey, this shit's all scripted. It's not a real thing. And yet, the Attitude Era was the most fun we ever had as fans. But then after Stone Cold turned heel and Vince bought WCW and ECW, nothing's ever been the same since. And
No,
that was 21 years ago. And I
no,
don't think the magic will ever come back.
no. I think the days are gone. I think the allure and the illusion of wrestling is gone. The death of kayfabe, all that kind of stuff. It's just gone. Audiences obviously are a lot more smarter and educated as well.
Mm-hmm.
So even the sheer theatrics of wrestling just is not enough to kind of grab new people in. And so at this point in time, you know, but the biggest like problem with that was it was the very people that kind of brought it to the forefront are also the ones that have killed it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about not just Vince McMahon. I'm also talking about, Vince Russo and the damage he did with TNA, with Hogan and all of them lot, and the people that kind of reignited the popularity have also been its downfall. And now we're in a situation where it's just been a steady decline for the last 20 years, and it's not coming back, and they're getting desperate. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of getting desperate, rumors are flying around that Stone Cold Steve Austin, they're trying to get him to wrestle at WrestleMania. This is how desperate they are. Jose,
Mm-hmm.
take it away.
It goes to show that we have no faith in our current crop of guys. When you've got a guy that has single handedly, arguably saved the wrestling business, and you're trying to trot him out at 57 years old to come back for a match against Kevin Owens, that what does that say to your roster? If you're going to rely on the guy that was wrestling's megastar to come in and outshine all of your talent on one of the nights of WrestleMania, what does that tell you in the locker room?
Yeah, yeah. It just shows you how desperate they are. Then um, Brock Lesnar also kind of said something which was, I mean, dumb on his part, but I get why he said it.
Yeah, it's like he's
Uh,
not wrong entirely on what he said.
he's not wrong entirely. However, he's directing his anger at the wrong people,
Mm-hmm.
because he's talking about wrestlers having to do more to put asses on seats when unfortunately you have a boss that will bury you if you get yourself over. So you're just stuck in this world where you do whatever Vince tells you, and only if he really likes it will you get a chance to kind of run with something. If he doesn't like it and you still get over with it, you're done. You're buried.
Yep.
You're out.
And
So
let me find my tweet that I said yesterday because I know that like
yeah, go
people
for it.
out there will agree with it. I said when Brock said what he said, I said to start with, here's how wrestlers need to get over. To start with, less is more. Wrestlers need to stop trying to do high spots for the quick pops. Number 2, talent must be allowed to be themselves. Number 3, stop scripting talent to no end. And finally, number 4, make storyline and matches actually matter instead of doing constant rematches and having spot after spot matches.
Yeah,
And that's what it's going to take. It's a combination of things. The wrestlers out here nowadays can't cut a promo for shit, but can do 100 moves for that 30-second "This is awesome" chant. And it's like, okay, what else you got?
yeah, and then they fall into the trap of everything has to be then done by the numbers, because Vince wants everything done by the numbers. You've got to do your spots, your signatures, and all of that, and everything follows a pattern. So the sad part is, in terms of talent, it's like the strongest it's ever been. But when
Hmm.
you don't have the means to allow them to kind of show what they could do from every creative angle, I'm talking promos, I'm talking move sets and all this kind of stuff, and you just have to go like you could call a wrestling match verbatim every fucking
Hmm.
time. You know exactly what's going to happen, and where is the allure? Where's the point in watching it? You know someone's going to do a crazy high spot. You know someone's going to do this and that, and that wrestling should tell a story.
Hmm.
I mean, it's it's another one of the reasons why it's in decline, and why they, now, like, I mean, I don't want to see Stone Cold come back. I don't want to see Stone Cold. I don't even want to see, like, you know, Goldberg ever fucking coming back. I don't know why they keep bringing him back. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, okay. And here's another point, too. Why fight for a title when you could just be Bill Goldberg? You could cash in your money in the Goldberg contract, show up whenever the fuck you want,
Yeah,
challenge a guy, and then it's on. It's like, what the fuck? Like you could just change your fucking name to Goldberg and just do that. Just change your name to Goldberg, come out, challenge a guy, and it's on. Fuck number one contenderships. Fuck I want to be the best in the world. Fuck all that shit. It doesn't matter.
yeah, exactly, and it's just an insult to the people that pull in the graft.
Hmm.
I know they're trying to get bums on seats and eyes on screens, but it's just not happening.
Nope.
Nobody cares about Goldberg. And, and now it's just to the point where it's just cringe where you keep bringing back Lesnar and Goldberg. What, they're going to be 70 years old and you're going to be bringing back Lesnar and Goldberg like they keep bringing back bloody. That's the other thing with wrestling as well that annoys me. It always clings on to legacy wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't need to constantly see Ric Flair coming back all the time, or JBL or all these kind of people. I don't need to see these people coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you ever saw the video where it was like Paul Heyman. This was 10 years ago when TNA was trying to get him to come in, and he said, "If you're over 40, I'm chopping your fucking head off. Like, I'm gonna keep one legend around because that legend stands out, but the rest of these dudes have got to go. The rest of these guys." It's like, let's do a video game with you, or let's do a doll with you, or let's, put you backstage and you can hype up matches that way for the video packages going into the pay-per-view. That kind of shit,
I agree. Yeah,
But
I agree. So I'm just going to quickly go to the comments so we don't alienate the audience. Zamir, too much predictability and not giving the fans what they want to, who they want to see elevated. Yeah, I mean, this is the next point. I think Vince likes to deny the fans.
Oh yeah.
He likes to remind people who's in control.
Yeah, it's all about. And here's the thing too. Okay, Cody Rhodes is good, but his presence in any company really doesn't matter. I agree. Cody Rhodes, he's not a big name. Cody is Cody. That's how I see him.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not special. Yeah. He's not.
No, he's nothing special. But then, to be fair, none of the elite were. Like, Chris Jericho's the only one that really, you could argue, if he stuck around, will always make a difference. But the rest, if they weren't around, like, maybe Kenny Omega, you could argue for that. I'm not a fan of his, but a lot of people like him for some reason. But if the Bucks left and Omega left and Cody
it would
left,
implode. AEW would implode right there. It would implode.
I don't know. I think it'll do better if they left and they just handed the keys more to people like Bryan and Punk.
Yeah.
Who would be better to and Sam has it here. Look, he's lucky he's Dusty's son.
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Cheeto here. Careful, guys. We almost sound like we know what we're talking about. Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I'm only 33 years old. I've only been watching this shit for since I was 2. So yeah, I would say I know what I'm talking about. I've watched this shit since I was 2. No joke.
Well, there you go. So yeah, you definitely know.
Yeah, and then going into anything else to talk about, the morale in the locker room, speaking of which, is at an all-time low in WWE. Oh, Lord. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, actually, here's another good one. I listened to Nia Jax's podcast with Renee, whatever her second name is now, with Renee, and it was quite interesting. Like, she kind of gave it away, and yes, Revolution Media, only Vince knows best. She gave it away, like, basically she's saying, like, everyone was getting on great, there was great, fantastic camaraderie, and then a new executive came in, Nick Khan, and the atmosphere completely changed. He's made everyone paranoid about their jobs. It's created a negative atmosphere. It's not what it used to be. And he's another component to what's ruining the company.
Because you don't know, unless your name is The Undertaker or Shawn Michaels or Roman Reigns or a lifer like John Cena, you have to be worried about your job. I mean, I don't care how much money you may be making the company 1 minute. It's all about what can you bring now. And that's what these talent really have to ask themselves. And also, speaking of money, this is a good segue too into topics. WWE grossed over $1 billion in 2021. So here's my question. What's the incentive to improve your product? I genuinely want to know. What's the incentive?
This is the argument. This is the argument I make with the people about corporations. I'm like, for example, if you take a game, Now, this game sucks and it's devoid of fun, and it's not like it used to be. However, because it has a shitload of microtransactions in it and the company's making a shitload of money, why would you improve on it? Why would you give the fans GTA 6, for example, when GTA 5 is making a fuck ton of money? It just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same with wrestling. If wrestling in its current state is still making WWE money, now bear in mind these are all the new deals that came in. So the profits that they're forecasting for the stockholders are all to do with all the TV deals that they had and the Saudi deals and all of this. Because merch sales are down, live shows are practically dead, ticket sales are down in general. Now, when the TV deals are due to run out, this is when we're going to see what happens next. This is the most interesting stuff. I think it's like a year left or 2 years left, pardon me, on their current deals. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Just gonna, I'm just gonna let my cat out 1 second.
Okay.
You carry on, Jose. I'm just.
Yeah, but I mean, the way I look at it is like Vince McMahon has got his billions of dollars. So what's his incentive to improve? Because USA, Fox are paying, billions of dollars. The NBC deal is in place for like another 5-6 years or so. So Vince could literally come out to the ring with his wife Linda and dance the night away in front of a crowd of 50,000 people for 3 hours on Monday Night Raw. And what would happen is people would still react, people would still watch, people would still give Vince McMahon time and money and press. And if you want things to change, you have to treat the WWE like that X. Like, okay, we've all been there where we've been madly in love with somebody, right? And the thing is, like everything is going great, let's say, for like the first couple years of your relationship. And then she starts acting different. And then she cheats on you. And then, over time, you're doing great post breakup. And then she starts calling you and she keeps calling you. And you're wondering, do I take that call? That's how I look at WWE nowadays. Like, it's like you want to turn away, but you kind of can't do that, at certain times of the year.
But it's like at the same time, it's like if I want all that drama, then you better improve. Otherwise, kiss my ass.
And we keep going back to it. That's the problem. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit like a boy. You dip in every now and then just to see out of human curiosity what's going on, and then you dip back out.
Yeah.
Right. Raw could be 3 hours of Vince performing stand back on loop, and they'll still make money. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Like we said, I mean, they're losing ratings. So when the new deals come in, they'll either be offered a fuckload less money, or they, Fox could it all hangs on Fox as well, because Fox could just be like, you're not really giving us the viewers. Everything's just plummeting. So that's that deal. We'll go shop somewhere else.
It's going to be really intriguing, though, when Vince McMahon is dead, because that's what I believe will be the catalyst. Is like when he's dead and they don't have that business acumen. Because the one thing about Vince, we may hate what he does, but nobody can deny that he's not a great businessman when it comes to taking deals. No one here on NerdTube can say Vince is not a great businessman when it comes to outside his own bubble. Like, he knows how to make the deals. And with anyone else in that company, I don't think they have that.
Yeah.
The product is fit. The product is fucked when people care about what's happening outside the ring and backstage and not inside the ring. That's another problem. When more people care about the inner workings of the business than what's actually going on in front of the curtain, that's how there's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, prime example for us, like probably at least me, people like me and Zam who don't watch wrestling pretty much at all, will care more about the drama stuff. Like, I keep an ear out to see what the drama is backstage and what's going on, because it's infinitely more fascinating than what's going on screen.
And here's another thing too. I don't know if you guys go through this, but I find myself listening to podcasting about old days of wrestling more entertaining than the current day stuff today.
I don't personally, but I get what you mean. Like I'd follow like the odd Jim Cornette thing here and there.
Oh, like
Um,
Steve, like I could go back and re-listen to like old Steve Austin episodes, and
I get yeah,
sometimes Bruce Pritchard, even though he lies a lot on his podcast, he
yeah,
embellishes a lot, but he's entertaining. JR's pretty good at what he does. Eric Bischoff is pretty good at telling
yeah.
like old
It's more
stories and
entertaining
shit
than
like
what's
that.
going on the main screen. That's for sure.
Hmm.
And that's the kind of sad reality of it. I mean, the last good thing I saw in wrestling was the promo back and forth with MJF and CM Punk, which I thought was
Hmm.
really good.
Yeah, the MJF CM Punk stuff has been amazing. This has probably
Yeah,
been the best thing AEW's done probably ever. In all actuality, I think
yeah,
this is the best feud they've ever had.
yeah. It's really good. It's really good, and it was a powder keg that needed to happen, and
Hmm.
I'm glad they didn't put it off too long.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff like that. Yeah, to Zam listens to Dutch Mandel.
Yep. Gossip columns and
Yes,
shit like that. Yep. Yep.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because
So,
nowadays, yeah, I don't think you're ever going to see another boom again. I think what's going to end up happening is Raw is going to be forced to be relegated back to smaller arenas given over time. AEW, they're going to have their audience. They're going to keep doing what they do. They're going to keep getting the million views that they get, but they won't go any higher than that because
yeah,
there's no megastars. No one will ever really truly be a megastar in pro wrestling again. And the WWE is so afraid of talent up and leaving them, going to Disney and going to Hollywood. Like Sasha Banks may be going Hollywood here pretty soon,
oh,
and
God,
that fucking terrifies the WWE. And I'm like, well, this is on you guys because you
yeah.
guys don't know what the fuck to do with her. She's got connections. So if she's going to go Hollywood, I say, fuck it. Hollywood is
She's
going
got
to get
that.
you way more money.
She's got that fucking Star Wars connection already in the bag. You
Hmm.
know, I can't remember who was. I think John Favreau was like practically in love with her. That's why he put her in the Mandalorian.
Yep.
So she's got her connections there. Obviously, she's got her cousin with his connections.
Yep.
So she'd do well to go off
Hmm.
into Hollywood. Whatever she does, wifey man, she can do what she likes.
Hmm.
Um, but it's interesting to see if Cody goes down that avenue as well, because I've seen a couple of shows with him in it, and he's not too bad an actor. He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. So he could go down there playing like psychopaths and things like that, which would be funny to see.
Hmm.
Um, oh, sorry. Right. Let's see comments here. All the while, Vince is happy to take Saudi money. Ironic to say, as a Newcastle fan, 2 or 3 times a year, they can cope with falling ratings for a while. Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention
Like,
Tony Khan. I don't know if you guys know, but Tony Khan also dips in the Saudi money. Let's keep it real.
oh yeah, oh god,
Hmm.
yeah. Oh well, they all dip into Saudi money, all
Yep.
of them. Won't be long before AEW goes into Saudi Arabia, and don't forget, the Khans are quite loved in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Doesn't want to be a stepping stone. Yeah, probably hurts Vince's ego. Well, when
Exactly.
they
'Cause
move on,
ever since The Rock left in 2002 after losing to Brock Lesnar to go Hollywood, that was the beginning of the end. Because when Rock up and said, "Fuck this, I'm out," that was it. And then Stone Cold retired. I know the exact moment that it ended. WrestleMania 20 was the last day that people talked about wrestling in my high school. After WrestleMania 20, no one talked about pro wrestling
up until
because,
the summer of Punk. But
yep,
I agree.
hmm,
I agree because it was when I kind of stopped watching wrestling was around 2003, 2004, up until the summer of Punk.
yep,
And then the summer of Punk happened. And I was like, ooh. And it just so happened to coincide with 2011 being a really good year for WWE. And then they botched that up and they haven't capitalized since.
yep. And ever since, yeah, Rock, Austin, Brock, Goldberg, and Foley all left after WrestleMania 20, that was it. It's
That
never
was
been
it.
the same since.
Nope. No,
And
Ruthless Aggression came in and I didn't really care at all
yep,
at that point.
Yeah, Punk
Uh,
made it worth watching again. Yeah, he
yeah,
did.
I
Yep.
agree. Yep.
And they
Yes,
completely
he
fucked
did.
it up in 2012. Yeah. And for you, Zam, it was Daniel Bryan and WWE being forced to listen to the fans. Yeah. It was unfortunate that he got hurt because he could have rode that wave
I
had he
still
not
say
gotten
Kane
hurt.
did it deliberately.
Yeah. Who
I still
knows?
say Kane injured him deliberately because I would never put it past WWE injuring big stars that Vince doesn't like to
Hmm.
kill the momentum.
Not to mention with that missile drop kick that he did, all that damage that he did to his neck, landing
Yep.
on his back the way he did all those years. Yeah, that shit
Yep.
was that's scary. That move, that missile drop kick, the way Bryan does it.
Yeah, the way he does it is just not good.
Yep.
So yeah. Um, Yeah, right. So just quickly to reiterate for people that just joining us, Cody Rhodes has buggered off from AEW, and there is now. To be fair, I think Cody kind of did it to himself anyway, and
Hmm.
which is the point I wanted to make earlier, and I forgot because he just became so fucking cringe after a while, and he was just putting himself over all the time, and these promos he was giving, like how having a baby with Brandy had ended
I'm gonna.
racism in America.
I'm about to get ready to piss people off, but make y'all laugh at the same time. I
Go
equate
for it.
Cody Rhodes to the movie The Room. It's so bad that it's like funny as shit. Like if you
Yeah.
just like, it's so bad. Like hearing him be like, "Oh, my baby, she will be black, white, biracial." Like doing these like ending racism promos have been so bad, but they're so fucking funny.
Oh my god. They were. It's like you couldn't turn away.
Yeah.
You just couldn't turn away. You just had to keep watching.
Hmm.
It's like it's the equivalent of one of those people. Oh, I have a black friend now, therefore no more racism. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't get the racism.
Yeah.
I don't see race.
Yeah, I'm not
It's that
racist. I've
kind
had
of
three
shit.
black people over my house.
Yeah, look, I had one of them here, and
Yeah.
they were great.
Yeah.
Fucking. Oh my god, he was so cringe.
Yeah.
And the nail in the coffin for him was the crowd is booing you.
Yeah.
Go heel, and it would have been a great heel and entertaining, and
I mean,
he
Matt
could have
Carter,
fell into that
the
cringe.
the one dude that can get away with doing like babyface shit while getting death threats and heel reactions right now is Matt Cardona. Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, I don't know what the fuck he did, how he found the secret formula, but he's doing something. The man just won the NWA world title, and I'm just like, wow. For this
That's
dude to be
incredible. Yeah,
for this dude to be acting like a babyface and the crowd throws garbage at him, they hate him, they cuss him out, all that type of shit, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, that's John Cena type shit right there. That's glorious.
yeah. Well,
And
that was the other thing in 2011 with Zack Ryder when he got himself over, and he did it so well, and they buried him. But then it goes to show you, like I've always been a big fan of Zack Ryder's. I thought, from what I was seeing, like very good wrestler, solid wrestler, excellent finisher.
yep.
But just never given the chance. And now that he's gone on the independent circuit, he's absolutely crushing it.
Oh yeah, you go watch his shit right now. This is easily the best work of his career.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point fucking WWE are like, well, okay, well we got thingy to come back and it was successful. Drew McIntyre. Why don't we bring back this former jobber as well and
Yep.
run with it?
And I wouldn't be surprised if he tells them, okay, but here's the deal. I get creative say in my character. Otherwise,
Yeah,
no deal. Yep.
and I get a fucking title run. Otherwise, fuck off.
Yep.
Because you don't go from winning the GCW and the NWA championship to going back to jobbing at WWE. It doesn't work like that.
Nah.
Drew McIntyre, for all the shit we talk about WWE, I think they've done well with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. If I'm being honest,
Yep.
the
Out of
best
all
that they could do in that creatively bankrupt environment, they've done all right by them for the most part.
Yep. Are we
And so,
excited and I know people are going to ask, are we excited for WrestleMania? So far, for me, no. I don't give a shit about WrestleMania this
no,
year. Despite
no.
Stone Cold coming back, I don't care about it.
And the fact that it's over 2 days as well, it just doesn't. That's just stupid. I get it when they did it over the pandemic and they did it over 2 days, but the pandemic's not over, but the restrictions are over.
Hmm.
So Just do it over one night, and I couldn't care less. In fact, the only thing that interests me in watching wrestling is when we do the panel show, because the Rumble was a good laugh.
Yeah,
When
and
we
we're
had
going to
the
be good segue because now I'm going to go ahead and shamelessly plug. We're watching WWE Elimination Chamber this Saturday. Be there, guys. It's going to be the panel. We're going to try to get everybody together. It's going to be a good time. Come in and chat with us and, make fun of the damn thing. That's what we do, and that's what makes this shit fun.
exactly, like we had a good laugh. Like Rumble was abysmal, but it
We had
was
a
a
fucking
good laugh.
fantastic time, yeah.
We were moments away from having Jose shit a brick, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, he got away with it.
Yep.
Got away with it. All right, I'm just going to quickly check. So, Elimination Chamber is obviously it's this Saturday, so it's not Sunday, and it's going to be. I think it's on at 12 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, so
Which is
that'll be first thing in the morning for me. Shit, so I'll be
for
eating
you. It's going to be
my
yeah,
breakfast while we watch this shit. That works out for me.
yeah. It's going to be great. What a great way to wake up.
Hmm.
Watching breakfast and wrestling live, and yeah, it's going to be 5 p.m. here in the UK. We'll be doing a live stream, and yeah, I urge people come and join us. It's a good laugh. We're going to try and make it a regular thing because it's the only way to kind of tolerate.
It's the only way to tolerate this shit. Because other than that,
Yeah,
watching this by yourselves is torture. I mean, if Jinder Mahal can be world champion, albeit try to capture a particular market, they'd be able to give Cardona a title run without anyone going, "Wait, what?" Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in time, you might as well throw the kitchen sink at everything and see what sticks.
Because that's exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, they give it to Big E. They give the title to. They even give it to fucking Kofi Kingston, and that was it. You know, they botched his run, but it was one of the best moments in wrestling for me when he won it, because the build-up was perfect. The circumstances were hilarious because it was like only for a Mustafa Ali injury.
Free Ali, motherfuckers, by the way. Free Ali. Let him go.
Yeah,
free Mustafa.
Free Ali, let him go.
Let him go. He doesn't want to be there. Let him out.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, when they want to leave, they won't let them, but when they don't want to leave, they kick them out.
I'm willing to bet he's got to sign an NDA. You cannot discuss this shit when you leave. If we're going to let you go, you can't say shit. Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, let's see. I don't know when this contract's up.
2.5 years.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to end it here, Jose. I think 40 minutes is good enough. But yep, thank you everyone for joining us. And do remember, this Saturday, the 19th, 12 p.m. Eastern, which is, I think, 8 a.m. California time and 5 p.m. UK time. No, I think it's at 9. It's 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. UK time. Join us here on NerdTube for Elimination Chamber and Execution Chamber and all the other kind of different chambers that they have in Saudi Arabia. And I want to thank my host, my co-host, David Jose, and everyone in the chat for joining in. Go ahead, Jose. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. I mean, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. We are NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel that you've never heard of. We are at 2K and counting. Thank you guys for the support.